listen to the last song, which is the Heart Part 6, and officially wrap this up. So let's see what's going on. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I seen the cover art. It say Dave Free. I don't even know what this is. I don't know who Dave Free is. None of that. I'm gonna just go. Just deal with that later. I'm gonna look it up after.
Pulitzer Prize winner is definitely spiraling. I got your fucking lines tapped, I swear that I'm dialed in. First I was a rat, so where's the proof of the trial then? Where's the paperwork of the cabinet is filed in? 1090 Jake would've took all the walls down. The streets would've had me hiding out in a small town. My Montreal connects stand up, not fall down. The ones that you getting your stories from, they all clowns. I am a war general, seasoned in preparation. My jacket is covered in medals, honor and decoration. You waited for this moment, overcome with the desperation. We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with investigation. Instead, you in that Venice studio, it's a celebration. You gotta learn to fact check things and be less impatient. Your fans are rejoicing, thinking this is my expiration. Even the picture you use, the jokes and the medication, the Maybach glove and the drug he uses for less inflation. Master manipulator, you bid on a speculation. You dumb and reactive, nigga, I'm petty with dedication. What about the bones we dug up in that excavation? And why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale? You haven't seen the kids in 6 months, the distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. Speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now. This Epstein angle was the shit I expected. TikTok videos you collected and dissected. Instead of being on some disdirect shit, you rather fucking grab your pen and misdirect shit. My mom came over today and I was like, mother, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got molested. Oh, fuck me, I just made the whole connection. This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. This when your father leave you home alone with no protection, so neglected. That's why these pedophile raps and shit you so obsessed with, it's so excessive. They acting like it's so aggressive, but you just never known affection. I don't wanna dish you anymore, this really got me second guessing. Touch My Body by Mariah Carey play, you probably start reflecting. I never been.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, yeah, this is getting out. This probably is supposed to equal Meet the Gram. I'll take it. You know what's funny? Now that I'm hearing this and we're 2 minutes in, I feel like the narrative would be different if Drake switched releases. Like if Drake dropped the Heart Part 6 in response to well, I think the Heart Part 6 should be judged against Meet the Gram, and then Family Matters should be judged against Not Like, because the tone of this is very dark, the same way Meet the Grams is very dark. And I think this song should have, this is a great, well, actually it's dropped directly after it and answer to it. So yeah, I get it. I still think he needs to answer to Not Like Us, but I mean, I don't sound like he probably will though. I think he just said something like he's bowing out or something like that.
Underage, but now I understand why that's the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was fucking young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested, but that's not the lesson. Clearly, there's a deeper message.
See, and then okay, this is how I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna lie. This is one thing I did that y'all probably shouldn't do. I listened to certain people's reactions. Like I didn't hear them play the song. I want to hear them, but I've heard people's opinions of it, right? Short clips and stuff. And granted, I was listening to some people who are more Kendrick biased, and obviously they try to be a more fair in their opinion. But if you do like someone's music better than the other, you're obviously a different scope. I do think the level of underhandedness that is in this does equal me 100%. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you are a Drake fan, I would say it does not sound as bad as I thought. I didn't think his predicament was as bad as I thought it was after hearing the song. The only thing that, I can understand if someone says is like if Drake lost his battle. If he lost his battle, I understand. But I don't think that like, oh, it's over for him. Some people are like, oh, he gotta retire from music or something. Like, nah. Like this is good foots being put forward. Although both of these guys are stumping in mud, these are good foots being put forward. Honestly. Like these are good songs. So far, 2:30 minutes in, 2 minutes 30 seconds in. He is addressing it. Although he says he's too respected. I promise you I would have got caught already. But I think people are just looking at that one line. I promise I would have got caught already. Or I would have been arrested. Right? Because I don't like you talking in those terms. Like, oh, I would have got caught. I would have been arrested. Well, to offer some pushback, even as a Drake fan, whose job is it to try to arrest you, though? You get what I'm saying? Like, when cases in which, like predators and stuff happen, it usually happens like it's more in a seamless way that the the actual predator gets caught. Now I'm not calling Drake a predator, but in the case of it, usually it's some slip up that they make that get caught. Like it's never as easy where you think it's this divine eye looking down on you that's giving the tip to the authority. That's not happening. They said Epstein was doing things for mad years before he ended up getting caught. Literally. Now, granted, I don't think Drake did it, and I probably don't also think Kendrick beat his wife because nobody got evidence. But, I think it could have been a probably a wittier way that he could have answered that. Like in my head, I'm thinking like, how could he answer this? He could have made a joke like, "Hey, you call me a pedo, I don't know what to say. The detective died on the case, so let me get out the way." Like you could have joked like that. Like he called me a pedophile. Like how you want me to prove that? Like you want me to take a picture with a 30-year-old woman? You see what I'm saying? Like I think it's funnier ways he could have addressed that. Although pedophilia is not funny in any light, but because we know he's not that, and he can't there's no, you can't get passionate in addressing that because in a trolling age of the internet, you're just gonna look hurt and they're just gonna say it's true. So in my head, you could have literally just called him Detective Dot and said, "Hey, I guess you're on the case," and told him, "Hey, bro, you can go, like, you go prove it. Paul don't lie. You go shoot the shot and show the people." You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, you go you go try, you go show it. You produce the evidence. Or what you just say in Family Matters? Hey, if he ain't got no proof, it's fake tea. So I think it was a funnier way he could have bounced that off of him. The equivalent to what he just did right now is kind of like O.J. Simpson writing that book, If I Would Have Did It. And I think he wrote the book. I don't know. I've seen people crack. I think so. See, yeah, I did it. Or if, never mind. It's called If I Did Do It. So that's why I think like Drake right there could have made a funnier way to like curve that and not look so visibly affected. Because I don't think as many people probably believe that respectfully in his field as I think the public believe, or that like they want the public to believe. Like Kendrick is running with this narrative and Kendrick fans are going to believe it and Drake fans are split. If it was undeniable evidence, we wouldn't even, like, this wouldn't even be a question. And to be honest, I wouldn't even have to keep making this song. After the first time you said it, I would show documentation or some form of proof, text messages. Like, all you need is text messages or something, and then that would have been it. That's why I don't even look on Twitter and listen to fan theories about, oh, here's a thread of Drake being with multiple such and such. Why don't we got leaked text messages or something? Why are we doing these over speculative analysis based on just photos? And then the photos isn't even something as intimate. It's like intentional pictures that they made visible to the public. Do you think, like, and I'm thinking like, do you think they would make these pictures visible to the public if they were, if he know it would make him look in a certain way? Wouldn't he would not want to get caught? So in my head, I don't think neither one of them is guilty of anything. In my head, I just know the angles they're going at each other for and looking at who's doing it the best and attacking each other. Really just how good the song is using that angle. But I do feel like he could have did a better way in bouncing off those allegations. So far, I do think he's doing good though. I just know that there's a better way or even one that plays into the internet well, because Detective Dot could have been trending. Like, for real, I think that's the case. And I probably should have said that at the OVO meeting, but hey, it is what it is. I should have said that at the meeting, but I mean,
Deep cuts that never healed and now they got infected. Like if Dave really fucked your girl and got her pregnant. Talk about breeding resentment. Not sure how to ease the sentiment, the shit's too intimate. I'm praying you recover from both incidents. But you a piece of shit, so this shit really no coincidence. Drake is not a name that you gon' see.
And another thing, whoever the mole is, bro, why are you doing this? Like, what? Why are you doing it? I get it. Kendrick said, like, hey, you got 100 on payroll, 20 think you should get it. One is real close and the other two's involved in your lifestyle. If you're the mole, why are you still around? Because that's what it seems like. And maybe I could be wrong. It's almost implications as if someone is still actively around him, and is leaking information to his enemies, hoping that someone sticks it to Drake. It's like, I guess you're moving co-op, but at the same time, it's like you're on his payroll making money from the guy. Like, in the allegations they're making, you would assume that you would want to set him up to get arrested rather than just sit there and bleed money out of him just so that he can get publicly humiliated. And my head is like, how soulless of a person is the mole exactly? Because in one sense, it's like, well, where's your moral compass lie? Like, do you actually just, you must not even care about the pedophilic allegations and, the type of information I can imagine you're feeding to Kendrick to, help kind of strengthen these claims. And just regarding his family and his lifestyle. But at the same time, you still decide to stay on that other side of the fence and still profit from it, from being around him. It's like, well, if he's a piece of garbage, then let's treat it that way. And you could probably do more work to, like, let's actually get him arrested. Let's actually get the embassy raided if that's how we move it. If he's actually that bad of a person, instead of just saying, no, I'm not gonna get this guy thrown in jail that probably is actually treating people wrong, or doing all these horrible things that Kendrick is claiming, and you're on the inside able to see it up close. But instead, you're like, hey, let's just make sure Kendrick has some of the greatest diss songs and he can win this lifelong waited battle. You see what I'm saying? You see how, like, soulless and spineless that would seem as whatever mole or moles that are leaking the information? Like, my perspective of them, how I see that is like, it's like, bro, if you want him out the way, then let's actually go make sure legally he can get out the way too. Not just in a way where, or make sure he gets alienated the right way. I don't really care about whether or not he can say nigga. Like, it's not even an opinion of, not opinion, not even a matter of how good of a person he is. If he's really doing the stuff that he's saying and you're on the inside and you can prove it, you should be able to do something to like, what would end all this beef is some evidence. I don't care how hard the song is. But hey, either way, I'm gonna get back to
it. See on no sex offender list, easy does it. You mentioned an A minor, but niggas gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it. You thought you left D flat, D major. I'll slit your throat with the razor and do Rick Ross hair like that one flight from Malaysia. I'm your baby mama screensaver. Only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Browns. I never look twice at no teenager. I'm a fucking hit maker, dawg, not a peacemaker. Yeah, bullets that I'm stuffing in each chamber. Your ass in extreme danger. Stop buying views and buy comments. You may as well keep the paper. Shit you about to need for later. I give a fuck about your streaming data. You could drop 100 more records. I'll see you later. Yeah, maybe when you meet your maker. I don't wanna fight with a woman beater. It feeds your nature. If you still bumping R. Kelly, you could thank the savior. Said if they deleted his music, then your music is going to a hypocrite. I don't understand why these people praise you. Sounding like you sent him commissary when he needs.
That's an interesting point. I forgot about that. That Kendrick said if they delete R. Kelly's music, they can take his off. That's a good point. That is rather hypocritical of him. In the grandest way, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really for anybody still playing his music. If that's the case, that's pretty much how I was. That is an extremely hypocritical. Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's interesting. I've heard somebody mention it. That's why I forgot it, because I was watching some reactor mention it. I let me just say this. I have to look into that. I have to check if that's the case. I don't think he's probably lying about it, but let me see. Let's just look at that stuff. Yeah, Kendrick label confirms that he threatened to pull his music from Spotify. Yeah. Led to the move of X, R. Kelly. Okay, he reached out and said, okay. Hey, that's a bar though. That's a bar. Not gonna lie. That is extremely hypocritical. That's very interesting because I mean, in this case, R. Kelly is flat out like, dude is he's flat out pedophile. So I mean, is at that point, honestly, that is a. I wish he would have brought up a point like that up sooner instead of like not after, like not like that's really it. So people are kind of like this type of song can kind of sog you down on such like an eccentric record. Um, that's very like simple. He's just pretty much that's probably his least lyrical song. But yeah, that's a bar. Honestly, yo, that was a good thing to point out was that hypocrisy. Like, yo, if you think people like me should die, how are you fighting for someone's music to stay? Like, wouldn't you want every piece of him just scraped off of existence? Like, yeah, honestly, because I would agree with that. Like, hey, pull his music down. Like, what are we doing? Dude is the pedophile. Like, yeah, we should get rid of it. Hey, it is what it is. Let's just finish. I'm gonna finish this
Need
out.
some paper, album dropping soon. No wonder you turn a clout chaser instead of doing hard labor. Nigga, I see you when I see you like Fantasia. Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor. And when I say I hit your back, it's a lot safer. I promise.
That's
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, this shit was some good exercise. Like, it's good to get out, get the pen working. You would be a worthy competitor if I was really a predator and you weren't fucking lying to every blogger and editor, but it is what it is. You definitely got this shit burnt the fuck out though. Like, you got 10 more records to drop. The one before the last one, we finessed you into telling a story that doesn't even exist. And then you go and drop the West Coast one to try and cover that up. I would like that one. That would be some shit I could dance to if you wasn't tripling down on some whole other bullshit, but
I ain't gonna lie, Drake sound mad. I ain't gonna lie, bro. He sounds mad. Like he sounds mad, and it sounds like okay. Even if Drake did feed him fake information, the impact of it still worked enough to where the people that already disliked you is gonna believe. And even if bigger picture you did bait him into this stuff, like I feel like he wants more people to credit him for that level 40 chess that isn't happening. Because not like us work. Now granted Drake is saying he's not a pedophile. I get it. But like I say, bro, the one key thing above all hip hop is good music always, regardless whatever the narrative is, regardless whatever you're going through, regardless whatever the accusation is, if you drop good music, people for some reason will lean in your favor to hear you out. Literally. Why? Because it's not easy to separate the artist from you usually couple whatever they produce, whether it's not even just music, a video, I don't know, 50-point game, with who they are as a person. You must seem like, oh, if they're really good in this way, they must have a good level of execution, must be disciplined. You know, they have this good moral compass, and that may not always be the case, but I don't want to get too off topic. I do think Drake is actually mad about it. I do think he wants more credit at at I do think he wants more credit at playing Kendrick, but that's not happening because not like us. Even if he dropped that to cover, it's still, and I think that hurts a lot. Like, he'd be like, bro, I tricked this guy. Like, I got him. Like, why aren't y'all like seeing that? But it's like we don't really care because not like us, it's a good record. It's kind of like we just shut up and dancing. We just ignored it and dancing. We just dancing. It, rip walking, whatever. People just dancing. So it's kind of like, cool, Meet the Grams is a wash, but it's like not like us double down this thing that some people that some people really can claim that they have evidence on, whether it's true or not. It's strong enough evidence for them to have a narrative about it. So that's why I think he's mad about this talking from how he sounds. Honestly, I do think Drake does still need to answer to Not Like Us. I do think Family Matters is a good record, but it's not like the dance. I think it's a good diss song. But Not Like Us is like it, you know? But yeah.
Your fans are getting some raps out of you. I'm happy I can motivate you, bring you back to the game, like, but just let me know when we're getting to the facts. Everything in my shit is facts. I'm waiting on you to return the favor, like.
Yeah, he sounded upset. I'm gonna keep it real. He sounded upset. I ain't gonna lie. He said, let me know when we get to the facts. I'm gonna be real. If Kendrick don't respond to this, it does. I don't see Kendrick responding to it because he already has the narrative favor. Um, I think this was a good way Drake could address the allegation, regardless of what I see some people saying. I think this is a good way to address the allegation. I think he could have done a better job at how he bounced off the predatory term, but I think it's still a good job of him saying like the leading point of him saying I would have been caught is because he said of the level of respect that I have from these, I'm assuming from some rather credible people that somebody would have seen something or known something much sooner and not directly be kind of like um some investigation by the authorities to have to figure this out. I think just some other people in the industry would have already been kind of saying this same thing, which is a good point to a degree because he's like, well, why is Kendrick the only one saying that he's a pedophile? You see what I'm saying? Like, why is no other artist, no other rapper that's ever had an issue with him ever said that? Why ain't somebody like, I don't know, like Meek Mill said this? I don't know. Why ain't Pusha say this? You see what I'm saying? Like, why it didn't any, or why is Kendrick the first rapper to ever say this? Now, granted, Drake ain't had that much beef in his life, but why is Kendrick the first one to say this though? Because I would want to believe that Pusha can have access to the same level of information that Kendrick, or at least in terms of like, you know, enough information to make those same allegations of him being predatory. I don't think that took like some great, some great big deep, some great big dumpster diving to do that. You see what I'm saying? Because if you want to be honest, it wasn't nothing too direct outside like the Wayne story or something. Anything else was him saying it was no like direct factual. It was no like direct specific statement that he said about Drake outside of the predatory allegation, and vice versa for Kendrick. Vice versa for Drake. They spoke in the general sense. Neither one of them gave too specific a scenario outside of him saying like, "Oh, you smashed Wayne's girls and got him tatted," and him saying like, the R. Kelly line and the fact that you probably allegedly hit your wife. So neither one of them, I think they pretty much knew their angle was and just kind of floated the boat on that side. So as far as I'm concerned, unfortunately, that Not Like Us, this is pretty hard. I can't even lie, it's probably the hardest song in this whole thing, and it's so simple and it stays on topic because he moved away from the Meet the Grams thing. Cool. I do think if Not Like This, Not Like Us didn't drop, I would say it's just about even. If honestly, I probably would have gave Drake the one up because he finessed him. But yeah, right now I'll still have to give it to Kendrick. I don't know where this would go. Granted, some people are like, oh well, I want this just to end. I want it to be over. I mean, yeah, you could say that when you could say that, and I can understand it because we are like on what, like, how many songs is this, bro? We have Like That, Push Up, Warrior, 616, Family Matters, Meet the Graham, Not Like This, The Hard Part 6. We have 8 songs. We have 8 songs. Like, this is great. I can't be mad at this. In my head, hey, I know people want it to end. Just for like shits and giggles, I do want to know what would happen if Drake did drop another record. Like, I do want to know where else could Kendrick even go with it? You see what I'm saying? But also, the next person that drops a diss does run the risk, since Drake is kind of, one could say like he's kind of he's behind, that it would kind of make him look bitter trying to like drop a bunch of records now after what is a perceivable end to this little this little shouting match, if you want to simplify it. Um Maybe Kendrick can drop again, then that'll let us know that, oh, he not done with him. But that'll let you know that's how the narrative is. That if Kendrick drop again, they be like, oh no, Kendrick not letting up. He trying to bury the casket an extra 6 feet. But if Drake drop again, I'm pretty sure somebody would probably say like, bro, give it up, it's over. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I really don't know what perspective could be taken if another song were to come out. I'm just saying, Drake, if you do drop again, which I don't see it happen, or even Kendrick dropping again, please make sure it is a bop. Like, I'm talking about not like, oh, I just got a dish you. I'm talking about a banger, like a hit. I'm talking about an actual like a like an anthem song. Another Metro Shut Your Whole Ass Up and Play Them From. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I think it has to be. Um, what do I think about it? Like, kind of this being the end. Like I just said, I think um I want to say it's over. I want to say it's done right here. Uh, I do think, Drake could probably, if it ends right now, when do we hear back from Drake again? I think we probably get one more song before the end of this year. Because I don't think people want to make it seem like you just disappeared, even though he did mention that he was going to do that at the end of the Sexy Red tour. But I think we probably get one more song from him again. I don't know if he going to sneak this him or not. Probably just a normal ass record. I think J. Cole probably drops another record probably at the start of next year. You got to say something to us. And, Kendrick just going to go back and kind of disappear again for another maybe 3 to 5 years. I don't know. I hope not. If it happens, it happens. It, yeah, I just think that would be the case. Um, I do think every song that these guys dropped are amazing. Each one of them. I can't say not one song. I'll be honest. I can't say not one. I like how all these songs sound. Not Like Us though is the hardest one though. I think credit to that. Um, I'll say Not Like Us is hard. To the Metro thing. When Metro mentioned like, oh, you already know what my problem with you is, and Drake just said, hey, one dude took your main squeeze. If he's already been called a pedophile, now granted, Metro hasn't doubled down on that station, but he is doubling down on clowning Drake. Like everybody in their own way. Like he's taking part in picking on him, but still doing it from his own, his own issue with him. Because he hasn't once doubled down on the pedophile. That's something that is key for people to know. That okay, the only one that is only doubled down on that or amped it up a lot more was Rick Ross. Metro has not done that. Future has not done that. The Weeknd has not doubled down on that allegation. It's only Kendrick and whoever the placebo, whoever well us, the public taking to whatever narrative that we're hearing from these two guys. So the only issue with Metro I don't get is like, why won't you say your issue? Like you're going to such lengths to make it's a little weak to me just because it's like you're going to such lengths to make an album to diss him. Not the whole album, but like, it's targeted. I'm like, that was one of the crowning things of the marketing of it was like, Drake, we don't trust you. Like you one of the people. We don't trust you. And, you're kind of champion behind, like Kendrick and stuff as he's dissing him. But then you want to kind of be mysterious and say, well, I don't have why I got a problem with it. It's like if you're gonna go to these great lengths to diss him and perceivably not ever want to reconcile the relationship with him, why won't you just go ahead and air it out then if you're gonna be this media heavy on your issue with him? That doesn't make any sense. You might as well should just say, hey, I don't mess with him because of this. And if it's a clear-cut situation where where Drake may be wrong, or if you know public the way in your favor, then I think you will put it out. But I'm assuming whatever the situation is, it'll probably be rather speculatory. I hope it may be nothing where in which you're like not. I hope it's not like over a woman or anything like that. Um, Although a good woman is something to fight over. I hope it's not over something like that because Drake did say somebody took your thing squeeze. I hope it's not like them because of a conflict being over a woman. Because if it is, I can see why you could have reservations about that because of how that can make you. But otherwise, I do want to know why are y'all beefing, and I only want to know because you made it a point to say you know why we got problems. So that's why I wouldn't understand your point of kind of keeping it. That doesn't do anything like to me specifically. That just doesn't make sense to me for you to still be anonymous about your beef with this guy. But in my eyes, I clearly think you help to rally people to make this great, like to do this big Operation Aubrey, and you can't even tell us what your problem with. Like it's like we have this grand execution of Drake almost, but at the same time, I mean, you making beats for him, BBL Drizzy. I don't even listen to that. But you won't tell us your issue with him though. That's my only problem. It's like we can't even know why you have a problem, but you will champion this public shaming. And I mean, you're not refuting the narrative. I mean, you're not supporting it either. But like, you're in on big public slandering. You can't tell us your problem with him. This is the time to get it out. Like, add some more fuel to the fire about why he's scummy or something. Rick Ross said it. Oh, you sent the cease and desist or something like that. So, I mean, I don't really know, man, but that's pretty much what I got for it, man. Um, yeah, I want to assume that this is over right now. Obviously, we don't know. I'll give it 1 week. If nobody drop, it's done. Um, yeah, and I think Kendrick could go back and be smooth. I think Drake could probably still like diss him in another song. I don't think this at all does the great degree that I think I'm hearing. Oh, it's done. Can't listen. No, people are gonna still listen to Drake, bro. I don't think the larger conglomerate of just people who listen to music in general, right? Probably from a more core hip hop perspective, um, it could impact your playlist. You know what I'm saying? But never get too invested in you. And even myself, while we're looking at this beef, never get too invested into this to where you forget you got work tomorrow, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like never get too invested to it to where you realize that like the only thing this would change is probably your playlist when you're pulling into the parking lot or whatever you're listening to online. You see what I'm saying? Like this isn't like we're not these two gentlemen at all. We're just someone that happens to listen to their product of their town. That's it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say on it. Yeah, just don't get too heavily invested into it to where you're thinking that you're actually like some people really jumping off a cliff with this stuff. It's like, bro, I think as a fan, even myself, you either got one or two things to gain from it. Either A, you're gonna listen to them, or A, you're not, bro. That's it. In my head, does this decide who's a better rapper? Um, because to be honest, I don't even consider this a rap battle. This sound more like a court case. Like that's what this sound like. This sound like a freaking court case. Like people just it's just all act. I mean, it ain't no evidence, but I mean, this just sounds like a flat out court case. Like we just throwing out jailable offense after jailable offense. Like with some things that deserve the death penalty. Like that's what this sounds like. So in my head, it's like, man, I don't think this was the idea of a rap battle I would like. At this point, this is just catchy ways to say this horrible thing that you just did. But when you hear a song like Not Like Us, you like, I may be coping. Because Not Like Us is hard and shit that a song been shit that song been made on the other foot, then I probably could be talking different. So I don't know. But this does sound more like a court case because these guys are just shouting illegal things that they're doing and just horrible things or things that make me look at both these gentlemen. Should they be true? I'm just honest. Um, yeah, that's pretty much my thing about it. Like, these are some things that I'll kind of look at them and say, like, well, brother, I wouldn't want to listen to neither one of these guys. Now, granted, Drake may really get off the playlist. That stuff is real, but because of the type of music Kendrick makes, if he was hitting his wife, especially on multiple occasions, brother, I can't listen to you neither. Now, I do understand that, hey, in hip hop, I would say one could say, um, um, if somebody said, "Hey, hip hop may not have the most respectful um, practices towards how to treat women and the things that we probably accept in hip hop as treatment towards a woman," um, some of the things that we think is okay to a woman or things that are recoverable from towards a woman um, should be re-examined, or things we could say about women should get re-examined. Yeah, I think that that's true. That, I do think women are disrespected in hip hop and over sexualized. I don't even think that's just a Drake thing. I think that women are disrespected, over sexualized in hip hop. Some because by their own accord, and others by just like other male artists. Honestly, like we do it, male artists, male fans, like we do it as well. So, because that in my eyes, I wouldn't want to listen to both neither one. And I hate that women and children were the casualty of this beef. But hey, I mean, if this was the kind of like the topic by which these two gentlemen had to use each other's history in order for as kind of like the catalyst for this match to happen, I would have to say Drake did a good job in going into this fight and coming out not too badly beat up, because based off those accusations, those are cancelable offenses. Those are offenses by which I think if he wasn't as talented musically as he is, it could actually have just ended him completely. As in, like, nobody was like that. These are wipe you off the map type of allegations, and back that up with some actual good music by a good musician on the level of Kendrick, then that's over. So I think that that it could be over. So I think Drake did a good job in going head to head with him and still being able to come out and still being able to drop music, given the accusation. Honestly, Drake dropping a good song, people are still tuning in. People still are still gonna want to listen, because I don't want to project my level of I really just don't want to project my level of investment to these diss records to larger. People were just listening to Drake a couple. I drop quick, especially when neither one of these guys are gonna drop evidence, and the only evidence that is fan theory, no actual legal document like back up or prove this stuff. Text messages, at least, we're all just being skeptical based off pictures that the people involved in, based off pictures that the actual people want, that they intended for us to see.